Hey everybody, it's Tafony here once again. Hope you're doing well. Today I am rambling about what is beyond this wall of cables. It is the WMD Javelin. It is a 6 HP envelope, ADSR envelope, VCA, with some extra tricks up its sleeve. I've said in the last video that every envelope generator should come with an integrated VCA, but if there ever was a perfect example of that, it would be the WMD Javelin. So, first and foremost, before we get into this one, the quick disclaimer, the quick housekeeping. I'm not affiliated with WMD. They didn't send this to me or anything like that. I purchased this one used here locally with my own money, so I'm not here to sell it to you, present it to you, anything like that. I just want to share my thoughts, my experiences, my ramblings, and plead for onboard VCAs with you. So with all of that being said, it sounds like this. Boom, 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 boom. I want you in my room. Okay, so the WMD Javelin is a 6 HP envelope and VCA. It is an ADSR, but it has a lot of interesting things up its sleeve that I'm going to hopefully demonstrate for you now. So if I'm setting it a trigger right now, I want to demonstrate first, and this is going to be totally out of order as I always am. We're sending the Vert Iter Legio into it. It is an awesome VCA. I have sung its praises many times before, but I'll show you first here. You can send the Javelin triggers if you want to by way of putting it in this full cycle mode, and what that does is, let's bring it in. So I'm setting a trigger, but it's going to go through the whole envelope regardless. But if you go into this mode, it's just going to fall off, right? If I'm setting super short, if it's looking at it as a super short gate, then it's just going to bleep, right? But you could, you know, it's flexible in that way that I could do a bunch of little triggers and go through the full envelope. But if you want to use gates for, you know, a more ADSRE, not a envelope generator way, I mean, that is an envelope generator, but you know what I'm trying to say. If we go into the first one, I'm going to send it a gate. Hopefully y'all can see it on the Hermod here. I'm going to take my little trigger and make it super long. So now if we go back down to the Javelin, we don't need our full cycle mode anymore. We can use our gate. And you know how an ADSR works. We can add some attack. Attack will smooth out the introduction of the VCA. No, well, in the VCA of this case, your envelope will be curved in with more attack. Right? So more attack, more curve. And then decay is the opposite. How long does it take to fall off? And in the case of a gate, how long does it fall off before it hits the sustain? And when you set the sustain here, how much it is. And it's just, you know, because we're doing random asides here, because that's what this show is. I did like on the Grandmother, I thought it was kind of the sustain slider, where the other controls were all knobs in the envelope. Helpful way to think about how sustain isn't a length, but a level. So I like to just roll sustain off a hair, but keep it pretty high up, because if you get pretty low, it sort of starts to sound like you didn't mean to leave the envelope open. And then release in this gate mode means you can have it hold a little longer than your triggers are, which is good for performance because you want it really short. But, you know, if you're jamming a song, it's going off, you could come and grab the Javelin and let it become a drone, right? Now my pitch isn't changing, which makes that kind of a bad application for it, but you know, it's there. Like I said, everything is really jammable on here. Then, you know, grab the release and mangle it is good. Now, speaking of jammability, this thing has a secondary jammability thing on it where this range, it can have super short envelopes or medium or long. And this thing can get really short, which I think is great. Let's just send a bunch of trigs. But then again, a performance thing. Okay, I think this is actually kind of a fun performance thing, right? You can just pump through some ranges, right? So I should actually have some decay. Anyway, I didn't see anyone talking about that online, and I always thought that was kind of a fun and interesting thing. So we talked about the mode, we talked about the range. Now let's talk about the levels. So the level of the envelope has 3 levels, and I believe this applies to both the outputs and the internal VCA, which we'll need to explore, but let's see. All right, it's VCA level, envelope level. Now, maybe this is a good time to jump into the CV output. So my favorite filter patch, well, I don't know if I have a favorite filter patch, but what I always do is take the envelope output of my VCA, or so envelope out of the Javelin and into the cutoff, so I can open my filter in the same way that I am doing, open the filter at the same rate that my envelope is going. So if I do more, if I do that envelope adjustment now, so that is adjusting the envelope output. So how much do I want it to move? Now I do have an attenuator on the Prism to do the same thing, but again, it is another performance tool, right? Yeah. So yeah, controls the level of the envelope output. And so now, because I am applying that envelope to the Prism, you're going to hear a little bit of different things as we go through it here. But you know what, maybe that's a good idea, because that's going to help us, that resonance sweeping is going to help us see more, or really accentuate the envelope, right? So maybe let's get into a shorter, less complicated envelope now. Take this up to 10 HP. Some attack. Now there is a loop mode, which is fun for performance things. And this will just ignore gates, I believe. No, okay, right now it's only active while the gate is off. But if I let go of the gate, or if I unpatch the gate, you can have it just repeat, like it's ratcheting, right? It's only moving. And it gets, like, ludicrously short. And I wonder... because I think this is 5, 7, or 10 volts. Or you have, like, a LFO source here. Right? So that's the loop mode. And there's indicators on here for whether loop's on or off. Obviously, there's an exponential curve sweep, which I think when you have big attack times, it'll show you where that curve is moving. There's also an input for the accent, so let's do accents in now. So have a little bit of our... Sorry, let me get back into gate mode. If we send our gate again and I turn off my loop, boom, 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 But if we send some random into the accent input, then you see there's, just amplitude spikes basically in this case. But if we take that off of random and maybe we'll try an alpha, just a triangle wave for simplicity. And if we do a bunch of triggers, yeah. Yeah. So accents giving us a little bit of variation. Now we can also do that same modulation to any of the parameters on board, which I thought was interesting because if you've watched the channel, I always say to modulate your decays, but here you can modulate your attack or your release in this case. Okay, no control over decay or sustain is interesting. You do get resets, so you can reset your envelopes as well. So in this, let's do this. So it's going to choke it, right? Which is really interesting. I'm grasping as if it isn't on a random mode, but it's really interesting. Let's try a random mode, actually. That was the triangle shape, but... yeah. Okay, we got some grounded noise. I hate to hear that. Alright, that's okay. Anyway, that is the WMD Javelin. I think this thing is super fully featured, super exciting. I don't know how exciting an envelope generator is, but I don't know, I just felt like, I know I said I wouldn't make this video all about begging for VCAs in envelope generators, but maybe I'll just make the end, please. I love this. I think that every envelope generator should have this. So yeah, Javelin is awesome and definitely deserves to be in the performance case. So I'm Tafony. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. I'll talk to you soon.